Hello and welcome to your live Wednesday advanced training webinar. My name is Jared Krebs. I am here live in San Antonio. And before I bring on our special guest, I want to remind you of 10 things to expect when building your USANA business. Number one, there will be ups and downs, just like anything. Number two, success or failure is up to you. If you succeed, it's because of you. If you fail, it's because of you, not because of the person who invited you to USANA. Number three, the goal is for you to become independent and be an independent leader for your team. Number four, make your plan on the weekends. Do it, review it, and make adjustments. Plan, do, review, adjust. Number five, it's going to take time. It's going to take 1 year to become competent at the skills to do this business. It's going to take 3 years to develop a significant part-time income. It's going to take 5 years to become a significant full-time earner and 7 years to become world-class. It can happen faster, but it's going to take time. Number six, it takes consistent work and hustle. You have got to be consistent week in and week out. Nothing more important than that. Number seven, you're going to have to grow and get outside of your comfort zone. Number eight, mental toughness is necessary. Number nine, the grass is not greener in other companies. The grass is greener where you water it. And number 10, this is a long-term game. USANA is 27 years strong with over $2.5 billion paid to its associates. Given me and my wife a full-time income for over a decade, as well as thousands of people around the world, and hundreds of thousands have made a part-time income doing USANA because it works if you work. And bonus tip, always remember, amateurs sell products, but professionals sell the vision. Make sure you're sharing these videos with your clients. Make sure you're sharing these videos with your prospects. These videos have people's full story, and that shares the vision of what USANA can do for your life and for their life. And nobody has done it better, or very few, if any, as my dear friend, one-star diamond director, Stephen Daniel out of Mansfield, Texas. He is here today. Stephen, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule. We're so excited to hear your story.
Next, you want me to go ahead and start telling it? Are you ready? Or
yes, and I just want everyone to know before you get started that Stephen was instrumental in my beginning years. I actually started my business in the North Texas area, the Metroplex, and Stephen and I teamed up on events, and we're not in the same business. We're cross-line, but we became best friends because we would do so many events together, and he has this big, beautiful house, and the events would be at his house, and like I'd stay there for the weekend and just like soak up everything. He's a multi-million-dollar member in USANA and outside of USANA also. So you really should be taking notes and apply everything you learned from Stephen today. And yes, Stephen, take over. We want to hear your story from beginning all the way to now if you can.
Well, one of the things that I love is I do love working cross-line. I know a lot of people don't and they have insecurities, but Jared and I hit it off right away. And one of the things that excited me about meeting Jared, you always, when you find somebody that's like-minded and has the same passion, and especially somebody that was younger than me, I felt like, wow, you know, it's just like having a child. My son is in here in the room with me, and he's 4 years old. And all the things you did wrong, you can try to help the next generation not make those same mistakes. And so when I saw Jared come along and he had that red Pontiac with no AC, I mean, just 2 years prior, I was in the same exact boat as him, and I was in a Volvo that was not even worth $500 with no AC. And Volvos sometimes have a few electrical problems. I couldn't even move the seat back and forth. I couldn't get the windows to come down. 105-degree summers here in Dallas. I'd be driving down the highway sweating with my sunroof open, trying to get all the sweat off so I'd look okay when I go to meet the next prospect. So I'm going to just go back a little bit in time. And I want y'all to see, you know, everybody thinks, oh, these people are successful. Well, we were not always successful. Jared would park his car a block away sometimes down the street because he didn't want it out in front of my house. And crazy enough that, you know, I'm in a close to 4,000 square foot home that I paid cash for. And 3 years prior, I was living in a budget suites off of 360 and Avenue J near the airport. And sometimes I couldn't even make the weekly, whatever it was, $199 or $169 or whatever it was a week payment. And just a quick funny story. I'm laying up there in bed one day and I'm watching the news. and it says budget suites on fire. And I'm like, man, I wonder which budget suites is on fire. And I've got the TV turned way up, and it shows the parking lot. And I'm like, that's where I'm at. So I couldn't hear the ambulance and the fire trucks and stuff. And I opened the door, and somebody was like literally cooking crack in one of the budget suites and lit the place on fire. So I'm living in that type of situation, trying to work my USANA business. And I would not even invite people there to do a presentation or do a meeting or try to show them USANA. And I'm sure you think Cracker Barrel is probably not the best place to do USANA because it's not the healthiest, it's not Jason's Deli or anything. But I would walk across the highway. There's a bridge there on Avenue J, and I would go to Cracker Barrel. In fact, I met an associate there for the first time, Craig Coria. And I would go to Cracker Barrel, and I would order the kids' meal because I was semi-broke. And I would order the kids' meal for $3.99, and it was either shrimp or chicken strips. And then you could get a little salad on one side. But the good thing is I get free refills on the tea, and I can sit there for 3 or 4 hours. I just meet people sitting at other tables and start sharing, and that's how I grew my business. But I'm going to go back. When I was young, at 7 years old, my parents were missionaries in Mexico. They've been there 50 years. We just wrote a book, and if anybody wants one, I'll get them one. It's called The 50-Year Journey, and we wrote it for my parents' 50th anniversary in Mexico. So my sponsor is Daniel and Paige Hunter. Dan had just got married when he sponsored me, and I've known Dan since I was a kid in Mexico. We got to the village where he and his siblings, I think there's 7 of them, they would invite us. And I remember one time they cut open a watermelon, and I was like 7 years old, and they put me on this donkey, and the saddle on the donkey was loose, and the saddle flipped under, and I'm riding down the road upside down on this donkey, and my dad's chasing me, trying to get me off, and I'm screaming, 7-year-old kid. And you remember this stuff because it sticks in your mind. But I've always known Dan, and in fact, he even dated my sister at one time, and he was at our house all the time. He'd come on the weekends, and my mom would cook for him, and he'd come stay the night and take a shower and hang out. So when you have somebody so close to you, sometimes it's hard for them to speak into your life. It's almost like a brother or a family member. It's hard for them to, I was thinking in my mind, what does he have to tell me? How's, this guy, I've known him all my life. He hasn't been that successful. And I haven't been that successful. And he's telling me about this company that we're going to make millions. And so for like a couple talk, everything was cool. And as soon as he would start with the, network marketing deal, because he had been in Amway and so the best thing that I can see, and I've watched patterns, I love to observe, and I think that's a big positive thing in my life is I observe all the time and listen. And what I notice is when people go through difficult situations is sometimes when it's the best time to start a new life, a new business, new health, and all that. So there's difficult times in your life, and I was going through a huge difficult time in my life. I'd had a heart attack at 37. I mean, all these things had crumbled in on me. My furniture store had closed. I'd been selling cars. I was broke. And so when Dan came by and started telling me about it, I really didn't have anything to lose. So I gave in after 2 years. And I remember February 17th of 2003, there was an ice storm on I-45. I'm living in the great town of Rice, Texas, population 300. It's nobody's there. I was like, who am I going to sponsor in this town? I have no furniture. Dan's car was sliding. We got out of his car. He had this old Buick, and we were sliding down the road. So we had to leave his car because we couldn't move it. And we go into my little double-wide RV, which was my trailer, which was really upscale from where I'd lived in a storage shed for a while. And I was in a storage shed with no electricity and no running water for a while. And I'd hit the bottom as bad as you can. I mean, I was bathing with a bucket of water, and I thought, not right. And so we're laying on the floor in this trailer, and he's got me signed up. I said, Dan, you got to help me. He goes, well, put people in front of me. And I was like, okay. So I called up a friend of mine, Ron Grabowski and Gloria Garcia, and I called up Dr. Joseph Naraki and all these people I knew. And believe it or not, my first week in USANA, I made $800. And $800 for me that week would be like 8,000 now. I mean, I was like, wow. And so, there's people that have been working USANA now that would probably say, wow, at $800. So it was a big deal. So my first year in USANA, and I know Jared has to put up the income, earning, legal, whatever statement so everybody can see what the average earnings. But I just want to tell y'all numbers, and I want to feel free to be able to talk to y'all. So we need to post that sometime. So anyway, my first year I only made 14,800 or something like that. I can go back and look at all my check stubs, but at least it was over $1,000 a month. And I could pay my budget suites, and I could eat Cracker Barrel, and I could work my business. And so, hey, I've got a bed, I've got air conditioning, I've got running water, I can go take a hot shower, I can put some clothes on and go see people. So, but the crazy thing is, watch this. So, and I'm giving these numbers, and they're probably within dollars accurate, but my second year was like 48,000, third year was 120 something thousand. And so I'm talking about 2003, 4, 5, and then 2006. Like Jared just said, he gave some of the stats. It took me 3 years, and I know people have done a whole lot more than me in 3 years, but in 3 years, my business just took off. And we're talking about it way in the six figures. And I looked at my check the other day, and I put January 1st, 2006 to December 25th, 2009, and it was over $1 million in those 3. So it was really cool to watch that happen. So when Jared met me, actually, I was already in the big house. I was already driving nice cars. I literally went from rags to riches in 3 years. And the thing that blows my mind is I've done a lot of business. I've never had one business that I could do that in 3 years I have a paid off house. I've got a paid off car. I'm wearing my $1,000 suits and going to convention, and I'm on top of things in 3 years. And it changed my life. And so it's hard, I know, to work this business when you're totally broke, because you're trying to portray a healthy lifestyle with wealth, because that's what we produce this. But it's almost like I've heard people say it, fake it till you make it. And I'm not saying to fake it till you make it, but really life in general is that. People walk around you all the time that have health problems, and you don't know it because they're trying to be strong. People have different blemishes, and they'll put makeup on to cover it up. People are always doing stuff because we as a people want to look the best and feel the best and show the best. So you are kind of faking it till you make it in a way, because I was telling everybody I'm a millionaire in this club. They said, well, have you made $1 million? No, but I know I am. And this business is worth $1 million, but I haven't made it yet. And hey, just for me saying that and continuing the process, in 3 years, I became what I said. So in my mind, I was a millionaire. And that was so hard because people would ask me, and I'd have to think about it to say, no, I haven't made the million yet. Because in my mind, I was a millionaire. And I'm still driving that stupid Volvo, and I'm thinking, I'm a millionaire. And so just like I'm a Christian, and the Bible talks about this, whatever man believes in his heart, so is he. And I believed it in my heart. Now, one thing is believe it in your head. And that's one thing a lot of people believe it in their head, but they don't believe it in their heart. And if you read the Bible, it tells you those little sentences are so important. Once it hit my heart, and I was so passionate about it, and I said, man, this can change people's lives in any country. I took off to Mexico, and we launched Mexico. I believe it was in 2005. So I started working both countries. So I take off to Mexico, and it just went nuts down there. And I mean, I'm out in villages one day, and people are selling their chickens and their pigs and their goats to sign up in USANA, and they've got dirt floors, and I'm eating tortillas handmade off of these wood stoves, and smoke billowing out of their little cardboard houses. And then the next day, I'm in Guadalajara with this guy that's making $20 million a year, and he's got a private jet, And then I'm flying to Mexico City to be with the senators and the president of Mexico's wife. And so, I mean, I was like, what in the heck? This is the craziest business I've ever been in, where I don't have anything. And it blew my mind sometimes, because I had to pinch myself, because I'm thinking, all I have is this computer and this little projector and these health and freedom magazines. And even before that, I didn't even have that. Before that, I had you know, some food from Cracker Barrel. But I built this with a flip chart, this piece of paper that cost like $5, and I felt like a teacher at you know, kindergarten teacher, flipping these papers and showing people this business. And one time I had a big group, and I was like, what can I do now? So I went to the printing company down the street in Mexico, and I blew the flip chart up. And so I've got one guy on one side and then one guy on the other. We're flipping these papers and doing the business. You know, we just had to improvise, and maybe Jerry can show you later, but I'm sitting here right now doing this video, and I'm improvising. I've got my little boy. He just got out of the bathtub, and hi.
Hi, Paul. Hi, Paul.
And he's one of the reasons I do this business, is because I can be a stay-at-home dad, and this little guy has not been out of my eyesight more than 2 or 3 hours since he was born. And so how many people have the ability to get up at any time they want, travel anywhere they want? He's got more flower miles than most adults. I'll go back to the room and play. And do the liberty to raise kids. So a lot of these single parents, they have to go to work. They have to pay half of their paycheck or 3/4 of their paycheck for somebody to watch their kids. And then they don't even get to raise them. Their kids are 18 and they don't even know where the time's gone. And for me to watch everything he does and see him grow up, it's just a real cool thing to me. So I've invested in what I did. I was telling Jared's dad right now, I said, I took a lot of my USANA money and I would not use it for other stuff when I could. I started trying to do stuff on the side to make an income so I could reinvest the USANA money. And I went crazy. I'd buy 300 books once I was able to, and I still have a lot of books signed by Brian Clemmer and all these other men, and boxes of them. And I'd say, I'm going to buy these books under one condition. You have to sit here and sign every one. Just investing in myself. I was at every convention until a few years ago when I had my baby. My parents thought, oh my God. Then when they saw the prosperity and they got on the products, they were on board. And my brother's a goal director. So at first they thought I'd fallen into something, because they'd come to my house and they'd see everything was USANA. And they said, there's nothing in here that's not USANA. If USANA had plates and dishes and I would have just used USANA everything. So my whole house I was living and breathing USANA because I wanted the freedom, which I now have. And so now I have several homes. The home I'm in, paid cash for. 3 blocks away, I've got a house paid cash for that I'm leasing for $2,600 a month, and another piece of land down the street, and a ranch, and another ranch I've leased out for $1,000 a month, where a lady she has 5 or 6 horses, and I've got cows. So I started investing in all this stuff. And so now, not only do I have USANA, which I have never missed one paycheck since February 17th of 2003. I was looking on the reports, and every Friday I've gotten a paycheck since I signed up. To me, that's consistency, and that's the big thing, is being so consistent. That's where people really fall short. They get excited, and my dad and I were talking about this. I was down at the ranch yesterday, and the ranch is a couple hours away, and I go down often, and we drive motorhomes. And yesterday I went down, and a police officer that's near me here, he is building a home. Somebody's calling me. Let me decline this call. So he wanted to use one of my RVs. So I went down to my ranch, picked up my RV, and brought it up so my buddy that's building a home has a place to hang out at his new house while it's getting finished. So while I was driving, I was thinking about that, and I'm driving down the road. I'm like, I own that piece of land, I own that ranch, this ranch is paid off, these cows, my dad's 82 years old on these products and healthy, flying back and forth to Mexico, still working. I've got a 90-something-year-old aunt next door. I've got my mom. I mean, they take more products than I do. They've been my number one consumer since I got them in. There's just Spartan health packs laying around and all their products, and so I'm just excited that I could bless my family, have the freedom. And freedom is so stinking important. When people don't understand freedom, even going to other countries and you see the lack of freedom financially in America. If you are living in America and you're broke, it's like living in a foreign country with no freedom. And so it's called modern day slavery. I was living in that, when you're just not making enough to make it ends meet. You're living hand to mouth, and I don't like that lifestyle. It doesn't bless anyone. It doesn't bless yourself. It doesn't bless the family. It puts a burden on everything. So having enough money to have overabundance to be able to help others, that's the big deal in USANA. And a lot of the top income earners in USANA, they have that abundance where they're helping others as well. And you can't take it with you, guys. Life is short. All of us have lost family members, and life is super short. So bless as many people as you can while you're alive. Take care of your family. The Bible says a good man leaveth an inheritance for his children's children. And if you think about that, children's children, that means I have to leave enough money not only for this little guy, but for his kids. That's what the Bible says a good man does. So it's not all about me seeing if I can have the nicest car and the nicest this and that and the other. In fact, I don't even live in the nicest home I own. I rent those out. So, and I've learned that it's not all about that. It's about leaving a legacy, leaving something that your kids can touch and tap into. And that's what I've seen about the Jewish community in different countries is they start their kids young, teaching them multiple streams of income, and they set up businesses for them, and they get married. The kids have a paid off house. Set your kids up for success. So take this business. It works, like Jared said, but you have to work. The only person that you can blame isn't Dr. Wentz, isn't USANA, isn't your upline, isn't your sponsor, isn't your trainer. You can't blame the products. They're working. You have to look in the mirror. And like my dad said, when you point a finger, you got three fingers pointing back at you. So don't point any finger because it's going to point right back. You're the only problem between you and your success and your health. Nobody else is the blame. So if I can do it, raising this little guy, and being a single dad, and we can travel, and this guy's well taken care of, and we can go, and he doesn't even know that, he didn't even know he goes, Daddy, are you a USANA preacher? He just found out because he went to USANA convention with me. He goes, is this USANA church? Are you a USANA worker? And so he woke up in bed and he goes, Daddy, I'm a USANA worker. I say, yes, you are, because you're showing other kids they need to take their USANAbles, and you're never sick. He's never sick. I can't even remember the last time I even had him at the doctor or anywhere. You're not a preacher yet, but you're a worker. To take your car in there. Then he's going to finish. So
oh
anyway,
my God, I love this.
Just give it all, and there's no excuses. That's the main thing I want to say. You can make money or you can make excuses, but you'll never make both. So,
ooh, yeah, that's awesome. Thank you so much, Stephen. I can't believe that half hour flew by like that. Love your story so much. We have a couple questions. First question is from Sue Ann Knobloch in San Antonio. She says, what is the main thing that you relay to people to encourage them to enroll at the top level associate? The big pack.
I try to enroll people with where they can spend the most money they can to enroll. We used to have that big package, $1,350 package, and I signed up 33 people in one night in Mexico City with that package. I think at that time it was 17,000 pesos, which would be huge amounts of money here in the U.S. It'd be like $3,000 or something. And the reason I want people to make an investment, people only respect what they invest in. And if it costs you something, you're going to respect it more. It's like me giving, if I gave my son a brand new car and he didn't have to work for it or nothing, he'd go tear it up. But if he has to go mow lawns and work for it, he's going to respect his car and wash it and take care of it. So if you just get in cheapo, I have a pastor that's pretty awesome. And he says, whatever's cheap, easy, or free is not worth having. And so I don't like cheap, I don't like easy, and I don't like free. And me being a Christian, he said, even salvation, knowing God is not free because he asked for your whole life. So there's nothing free in life, guys. There's nothing. And if you want the free stuff, it'll bite you on the other end. So what I say is go in gung-ho, give it your all. I got in debt to get in. I didn't have the money. Dan had to help me with part of my package to get in. I had to sell some products to pay for it. I did a lot of things to make it happen. And so whatever it takes for you to see this as a great opportunity, because I've looked into franchises and, right now, if I go start any franchise, it's going to cost me $500,000 on up. Some of them are $2 million. And you can buy a $500,000 franchise. They send you this little piece of paper. Now you got to go build, you got to go train. And, what if it's a Slotsky's, Dairy Queen, or Chick-fil-A or whatever? They ask for your life. Chick-fil-A, I have to be there. And that's one of the reasons I haven't bought the franchise, is because I don't want to be there. I want to be free. And my dad to this day said, don't buy that franchise because you're used to freedom. And even though you love Chick-fil-A and you believe in what they believe in, and I know the money they make, my family, my cousins have 6 restaurants. They're tied to them all the time. So invest in this USANA business thinking it's like you're $1 million franchise. Think of it as you just put all your cards on the table and take it so serious. And this is another thing, people go buy an iPhone, and I've got 3 or 4 of them, but back then I was using a BlackBerry. I still have all my original BlackBerries. What does this stupid phone cost me, And some people will pay on them. The USANA business costs less than this phone. This phone right here was $1,450 for this phone. And what's this phone worth in 5 years, guys? What's this phone worth in 5 years? What's this phone worth in 10 years? What's this phone worth in 15 years? I've got 3 Blackberries laying here I was looking at. I don't even know how I use those to build a business. I was trying to text on one and figure it out and get my pictures. And I was looking at the pictures and they were so fuzzy. And I was like, this is crazy. Time has flown. So what is going to happen 10 or 15 years in your business? You invest what this phone costs in your business, and in 5, 10, 15 years, you're going to have health and you're going to have financial freedom. And so people will spend on iPads, phones, cars, all this junk. Spend it on your business. Spend it on your future. That's the biggest thing. So that's what I portray people to get in with the big package. You've got to invest to make the money.
Oh, I love it. I love your mindset. That's what I've always got so much from you. Just being around you is just this big mindset and this way of thinking that really wears off on all of your team and wears off on all the cross line. It's your way of thinking that influences. And so thank you so much for sharing that with us today. And what is your last piece of advice to everybody watching?
I believe that the biggest thing, and my shortcomings have been training. But if you plug into other people, like I'm plugging back in because I've been out of the business for about 6 years, enjoying the free lifestyle. So plug back in, make friends like Jared. I'm going to be using these videos. I just signed up 2 people, and I hadn't signed up people in a while. And just a real quick thing, I'm going to tell you, I went to Massage Envy. Got me an hour massage. She signed up with $850 worth of products. Uber driver that I didn't even take the Uber. A friend of mine took the Uber, and he goes, Stephen, you got to get a hold of this Nigerian guy. He's amazing. I think he'd be great for your business. So now he's in my business with the big package. So what I'm saying is you just got to go out there, plug in with the right people. Wherever your shortcomings are, there's somebody in USANA that'll fill in that gap. If you can't talk like Jared, and now this, me being able to express myself, I couldn't have done it before. I have a man that's 79 years old, Luis Vizcaíno, that's in the $1 Million Club, that's below me, 79 years old, taking care of his sick wife at home, showed up to convention, signing people up. I was like, there's no stinking excuse. There's no excuse. These other people that are so much older than me have so much energy taking these products, and they're making it happen. So I would just say, give it your all. What's the worst thing that can happen to you? You just got stinking healthy and learned how to do a business, and you got a tax deduction. So there's a win-win in this. So just go for it. I mean, I can't see any loss at all in USANA. There, you could spend, people go to Vegas, they go on vacations and spend all this money, and all they have is pictures. I've got a house, I've got a car, I've got a motorhome sitting outside, 4 motorhomes. I've got a ranch, I've got a baby in here. I mean, I've got something to show for my vacation. So I go out and sign people up on cruise ships, and I've signed them up in the pool in Cancun, and the pool and the bar in the pool. They're like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Oh God, here we go." What do you do for a living? Here we go. In the computer room at the hotel, dripping water as I'm signing them up in USANA, and then we headed back to the pool and went out to eat that night. So you just got to make it happen,
Oh my God, you cracked me up. If you ever get a chance to hang out with Stephen Daniel, you better do it, because oh my God, it is crazy. Yeah, he does. He talks to everybody, and then that good energy just makes people want to learn more. And that's the thing about USANA that's so special, is that you have this opportunity to just bless people and bless people and bless people, and just and it blesses you. It blesses you back. And Stephen, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule. I know that you had to not only reschedule your dental appointment for this, but you also your phone is being held up by a ladder in your bathroom. I'm going to post this picture if it's okay with you, Stephen, because
that's cool.
It's hilarious. He's got his phone like on a ladder in his bathroom because he has the best lighting just for you today. So he could be here for you. He made it happen. So that's ingenuity in the works right there.
And I didn't sacrifice too much. I had to have a root canal. So I was like, oh, Jared, yeah, I'll just cancel it. I changed it to 3:30, so I'm going to have to head over there here in a little while.
Okay.
I thought I better not do this afterwards. I'll be drooling out the side. They'll think something's wrong with me. I stroked out or something. So.
Oh, my God. Well, thank you again, Stephen. I love you. Let's go ahead and open the lines. Everyone say thank you, Stephen, and have an awesome day.
Thank you, Stephen. Have an awesome day.
Thank you, Stephen. Have an awesome day.
Hey, if y'all need
Love your story.
up here in Mansfield, Texas, if anybody needs help, Jared knows he